The 90s. Dear Billy Temple Pilot, I'm feeling a bit nostalgic for the 90s. I was 12 in 1990. I'm 10 years older than you bastard. And had no stress or responsibilities. I get how that influences this, but it was a good time. I'm happy with technology now, and our society is more conscious of social issues, but everything is so loud now. Do you ever get nostalgic for the 90s? If so, what part of the 90s? Can you have your podcast guy use the Friends theme song for the Thursday podcast? That's a question mark there. Or anything awesome from the 90s? Thanks for reading this. If you do, life is pretty boring these days, and if I could use something to brighten my day as a pet store manager. All right, sir. Here's what's happening to you. Is you're slipping into your life and you don't like what's going on. So rather than fixing the now, you're going back in time. That's a temporary fix. Okay? If you don't want to manage a pet store, ask yourself what you really want to do and start slowly walking towards that, taking a half a step, a quarter step every day. And at one point you're going to look up and God damn it, there it is. Just like Indiana Jones. And then you grab it and all of a sudden a giant ball starts rolling after you and you got to fucking run out of there. And that's you after you make it, then trying to stay there. All right? But that's way more exciting than managing this pet store that, you're saying brighten your day as a pet store manager. You one of these guys who actually doesn't like animals? You probably don't like the people, right, coming in there or whatever. I don't know what it is. But I will answer your question. My favorite part of the 90s was the month before Nevermind came out. And I was listening to the Skid Row's Slave to the Grind. And I thought hair metal and all, not even the hair metal, but metal was never going to end. Because that was, like, what you love was the end of my youth. Because I was 22 in 1990. So that was the end of it for me. So, like, think about 2000 for you. You're getting out of college. All this new music's coming out. You're starting to not be able to, the next few years, you can't keep up with it. What the fuck are they listening to? And then that's what happens. And then you start driving around. But I'm not going to lie to you, dude. The shit that I still listen to, I try to listen to newer shit. Like, it's a new band to me, like Cold War Kids. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I saw them, recently they were on TV. I'll download some of their stuff. And I'm like, oh, I remember that song. That fucking that song. That fucking tune. The guy's singing really high voice, amazing voice. And I was looking at that. It's like that fucking album came out 2006 or something. So I'm way behind the curve, but I try to stay up on. All right, you want to hear something embarrassing? I'm going to fucking tell you all my latest downloads. I downloaded Dreamweaver by Gary Wright. That album, tremendously fucking underrated album. All right, because everybody thinks of they think of that song, woo woo woo, Dreamweaver, right? And everybody laughs at that song. They use it in these ironic hipster fucking ways. I got to tell you, man, that fucking album is the shit. And there's definitely some poppy shit on there. But all these years of me talking about loving to play drums and all this stuff, why did nobody tell me about Andy Newmark? Jesus Christ, that guy's one of the best fucking drummers I've ever heard. He plays on this album. And, you don't have to get it for fucking Dreamweaver or any of that shit, but like, Love Is Alive. For the longest time, I thought that sounded like Clapton to me singing, or maybe like one of those Steve Winwood bands. Just listen to how tasty the fucking drums are. And I'll actually post a video this week of him fucking playing with like Rod Stewart and these guys just fucking wailing. All right, so I downloaded that. Then I downloaded Cold War Kids, Robbers, and Cowards. I'm downloading the new Queens of the Stone Age today. And then Jesus. Well, in defense of me, I lost a lot of my music when I dropped my last phone into the toilet. It was actually in my back pocket. And I stood up from taking a dump, right? No, I didn't. I was fucking hammered. I remember this guy was saying there was something about standing up when you take a piss, some fucking health reason. So I sat down like a lady, right? And I had my phone in my back pocket. When I stood up, it fucking fell into the toilet. Fucking brutal. Like I was going to go get that. No, it ain't happening. So I don't use the cloud and everything. Just I lost everything. So I downloaded AC/DC. If you want blood, you got it live. AC/DC for those about to rock. AC/DC high voltage. Then I had to get my vintage Aerosmith in there. I downloaded Get Your Wings, Rocks, Toys in the Attic. Then I downloaded the new fucking Mute Math. Well, I'm still waiting for the rest of that album to come out. The Play Dead. I downloaded Glenn Campbell, Rhinestone Cowboy, because I've been singing that with the advertising. Like a rhinestone ball bag. Peter Frampton, Frampton Comes Alive. Alt J, This Is All Yours. Marvin Gaye, Sexual Healing. Download. What a fucking tremendous song that is. The new Royal Blood album. Anthony Hamilton. Then I downloaded like 3 Prince albums. No, 2 of them. Sign of the Times. And then Dirty Mind. The first Soundgarden album. The Prince album For You. Then a Dave Brubeck live at Carnegie Hall. Then a bunch of Miles Davis. That's what I've done in the last couple of months. Steaming with Miles, working with Miles, round about midnight, relaxing with Miles, cooking with Miles. And there you go. That's what the fuck I've been downloading. What else do I got here? Wayne Shorter. The Idiot King, Attention Deficit. I think that's that's what's his face. Tim Alexander on drums on that. The Brown Album. Bad Motor Finger. Temple of the Dog. Oh, that was right when Chris Cornell died. I had to get all that fucking music back on my phone. John Coltrane, Sonny Rollins, Tesla, Skid Row, there you go. Marilyn Manson, Primus. Animals Should Not Act Like People, Pork Soda, and Sailing the Seas of Cheese. You know what? DeRosa just sent me a new fucking, their latest fucking track. It's the shit. I absolutely loved it. Primus has a new one coming out. What the fuck is it called? Let me see here. Where is it? In my phone. All right, what do I have him underneath? You know, everybody says Joe has no shoulders. That's not true. He lacks the meat that is between your neck and your shoulders. Basically, his trapezius. He was born without it. All right, Primus, The 7. Check that out this week. All right, enough with this old man telling you the music that he likes. Let's get back to your young people questions here, shall we? So, when grunge came in, I didn't like the first, when Pearl Jam first came out, Nirvana first came out, I didn't like those bands because they knocked all my bands off the top 10. You know? I was like, this isn't a good band. What about Britney Fox? What about Winger, man? What about Warrant? I listened. I didn't necessarily buy all those albums, but I didn't think any of that was bad music. I was young. I didn't fucking know any better. You know, at least those guys could fucking play. You know, these cunts today with a fucking laptop and a goddamn Christmas tree in their head. So it took me a long time to admit that Nirvana, Pearl Jam were great bands, but like Soundgarden and fucking Alice in Chains had like fucking that anger in there. And just the sound of their lead singers, man. I really like their frontmen. And now, of course, you know, I love Pearl Jam, I love Nirvana and all that shit. But I was a bit of a baby when their music came out. I was too young. This is the first time I was seeing my music go away, so I wasn't mature enough to be like, you know what? You know, I have to accept that, you know, my time has come and gone and that this is what the fucking music is now and I should listen to it. It took me a good 20 years to be able to do that.